Did you guys know that Taylor Swift is releasing an album on October 3rd? Did you know that? Have you been on the internet at all this last week? Whether you're a Swiftie or not, you probably have heard the news, and I'm just going to go ahead and give a disclaimer. I'm sorry to all of my subscribers who don't care about Taylor Swift. You can still be my friend. I still love you and adore you. However, I am a Swiftie. Like, paid money, went to that concert last October. That's me. And so this last week, you'll notice there wasn't a new vlog. And that's because when I got home from school, I was like tuned in to Taylor, the countdowns, the podcast, everything. I am so excited for this new album. Her photos, gorgeous, gorgeous. But like even more excited than like just seeing all the images come from this is like speculating about what the album is actually going to be about. I am a theater girl. This album is called The Life of a Showgirl. It seems like it's going to be very theatrical and fun and upbeat. We can talk more about like what I think the album is going to be like because that's kind of the tie-in to this vlog. I am going to let Taylor Swift's new album pick my reads for the week or beyond because I want to read 3 books, and at this rate of teaching, who knows if I'll read 3 books in a week, but I obviously don't know anything about her album. So as we're picking these songs, I kind of want to talk about what I think she could do with them and then pick a book based on the vibes, based on the words used. I don't know. Like, I literally don't know what the songs are going to be about. So, like, if I get the one called Wood, like, it could be that there's trees on the cover. It could be, like, what I think the symbolism is. I don't know yet. But I am trying to pick books from my physical TBR or from KU. So, no buying books, no going to the library. These are books that I have immediate access to. And I'm really craving some fantasy because there's no fantasy on my Battleship TBR and I've been missing it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to let Taylor pick. I have the wheel all set up in the colors of the album. So we're going to spin it and we're going to get a book and talk about it. I have to do all of this kind of fast because I do like have to get ready for something, but I really wanted to get on here and talk with y'all. I'm so excited for this new album, guys. Let's do our first spin. Okay, we got Eldest Daughter, which is track 5 on the new album. And for those not attuned to Swiftie culture, her track 5s are always her most emotional, most hard hitting songs. And I think that this is no exception. I also think that this one speaks to me, like on a very, very deep level, because I am also the eldest daughter. Taylor is the eldest daughter in her family. She has one younger brother. I have one younger brother. And I think the oldest sibling often takes like the brunt of the responsibilities, especially the like emotional responsibilities of the sibling dynamic. Whether we mean to or not, I think it's just kind of like a protective thing that's like drilled into us. And so I think that she's going to talk about what it has been like growing up and bearing the emotional brunt of the family. She's the eldest daughter who, in a sense, like carries her family. Not that her family isn't insanely talented, but you know, like who is the figurehead of that family at the end of the day? It's Taylor Swift. So I think it's going to be a lot about that, and I don't know that it's going to speak to everybody, but I think it will speak to the eldest daughters. So I'm going to go peruse my TBR. I have an idea, but it's kind of a stretch. Okay, we did the best that we could do with my own TBR. These are both sister books. They have to do with sisters. One I have started before and DNF'd that is not on my Battleship TBR, and the other one I've never read before, and it is on my Battleship TBR, and I literally don't know what to do. So the one that's actually on my TBR is Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. It's not eldest daughter. These 2 daughters in this family are twins, and one of them is moving back home to her hometown, which is a little 'tis the damn season, coming back to your hometown. And her twin sister is pregnant, estranged from the baby's father, needs support. So that's kind of that sibling dynamic taking on the responsibility. She runs into an old almost flame. She hits a large animal with her car. When she gets out to investigate, she's attacked. And then we've got more onto that. But that's kind of the dynamics that I'm getting here. And then I actually started this one before and soft DNF'd it. It was when it was on Kindle Unlimited, and now they've been traditionally published. But in this book, we have a whole bunch of sisters, and they are raised knowing that one of them is going to go and be like an undercover queen spy to this enemy land and get married in an arranged marriage and be a spy, essentially. And there's only one sister that's supposed to do it, but all of the sisters are killed. And so one sister takes on that responsibility. I think that this is more of a stretch than this one. So I think we're going to read Such Sharp Teeth for eldest daughter. But I'm probably not going to be able to start that right now because I got invited to go to a baseball game tonight. And you might be thinking, Heather, Mississippi doesn't have professional baseball. You're right. You're right. But we used to have the Mississippi Braves, which were a minor league Braves team. They left us. They were like, peace, we're heading back to Georgia. So they're in Columbus, Georgia now. But we did get a team from the Frontier League, which I had never heard of before, take over that stadium. And they are the Mississippi Mud Monsters. And they are trying to like really hype them up and make them a big deal. So I got invited to go to a game tonight, and not just like go to a game. I got invited to hang out with some of my friends in like a big suite, like air conditioning. And I think we get food and drinks. So that's the plan tonight. I don't know what to wear. I mean, this is the kind of clothing I live in, or I'm in teacher clothes. So I got to figure that out in the next hour. Brent's going with me. The person who's kind of like over all of this is one of my friends that I play pickleball with. So I think it will be a lot of fun. I used to go to Mississippi Braves games, and I haven't been to a game in years. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, even though like the Mississippi Mud Monsters aren't a big deal. Like going to a baseball game is fun, and like it's such a summery activity. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. And I'm glad that we ended up with a book that was on my TBR, even though I'm really in a fantasy mood. So maybe the next book that we get will be fantasy. But Eldest Daughter, Such Sharp Teeth. I also really like Rachel Harrison. I will be caught up on all of her books until Play Nice comes out next month when I read this. We are keeping it very, very casual for this baseball game because I have nothing in their team colors. And why? This is the only thing I have. This like ultramarine aqua teal blue. I love this color on me, but this is the only shirt I have. You look like the 4th of July. It makes me want a hot dog real bad that I bought for the 4th of July. So I'm wearing it to the game because you can get hot dogs at a baseball game. And also there's gonna be fireworks. So, and it's their colors. I am dragging. So I just made a mug of coffee in my trying my best cup. But let me tell you why I'm excited about my coffee. Because pumpkin creamer is back. And is it August and 100 degrees outside? Yes, it is. Am I going to a baseball game that screams summer? Yes, I am. Am I gonna chug this coffee before Brent comes pick me up? Yes, I am.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back.
Let me tell y'all a couple secrets. Secret number 1, I'm really tired from the game last night, even though I had so much fun. I'm really tired and I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather. Secret number 2, we can see what I'm wearing today. We did not have air conditioning at work today, so I feel dead. And I'm about to go shower before I get anything else done today. This lovely barbecue joint celebrates teachers returning to school, so they had a free meal for teachers. So I picked up a barbecue sandwich and some baked beans. So I've got dinner for after my shower, but I literally cannot comprehend the thought of eating food until I am not sweaty anymore. I will give y'all a full update in a little bit, but things aren't looking up this week. Things are feeling down. I feel very sick, but I have a parent-teacher conference this morning, so I put myself together, and on days where you are not feeling great, it calls for a Route 44 Diet Coke. But we do have a reading update. I have reached 25% of my book. More thoughts to come because I don't want to be late for work, but I wanted to showcase that Diet Coke is good, I guess. I don't know. Hello, friends. I certainly hope that you cannot hear the disaster that is my air conditioning unit in my classroom, which also might be part of the reason that I'm feeling sick. It sounds like a dying car on the side of the road. I just finished up all of the work I need to do during my planning block, which is always nice. And I have been listening to my
book, which the bookmark is not in the correct spot since I started listening. I'm probably at page like 130. And there is something, and this is going to sound bizarre because this is like a quiet little horror book, but there is something so comforting and cozy about Rachel Harrison's earlier books. I'm making sure I'm not turning this mic off. Cackle was the first book that I listened to by her, and like that was definitely cozy, quiet horror. Some of her books that have come out more recently haven't necessarily had that cozy vibe to them, but this one kind of does too. This was her second book, or her third book. I think it was The Return, then Cackle, then this book. I might be wrong though. But we are following Rory, who is a twin sister to Scarlett. And Rory lives a big city life, but Scarlett's baby daddy leaves her when she's pregnant. And Scarlett needs some support. So Rory comes home to live with her for 6 months during her pregnancy and during the, when she first brings the baby home, just so that she has somebody there to support her. And this book really does fit the vibe of the song I picked it for, which is Eldest Daughter. Obviously, I don't know what the song is about, but just going off the name and knowing that it's track 5, I think that this is a really good pick because while they're twins, I feel like Rory definitely does give off older sibling vibes. Maybe she was born first, who knows? But the way that this book starts is Rory has come home. She was just like hanging out at the local bar and she ran into kind of an old flame. Like they had crushes on each other, but they never dated in high school. And she's on her way back. She's thinking about the fun night that she had when she hits an animal. And her first instinct isn't to get out of there. Her first instinct is to get out of the car and make sure it wasn't somebody's pet, which I can appreciate because if I were in an accident, I think that would also be my first instinct. She gets out of the car. She is attacked by something. Some creature attacks her. She tells the story like, hey, I was attacked by a bear. And she goes to the hospital and gets fixed up. But obviously, based off the cover, we quickly learned that it was not a bear she was attacked by. It does seem to be a werewolf. And she is noticing some changes in her life. But so far, there's not much plot. It is very much a vibey book. It is her observing changes in herself as well as observing changes in others, which I think is kind of the thematic element of the book is people change, and that's okay. I really like the sibling dynamic between Scarlett and Rory. While they're twins, they are different enough, but also they have some similarities. Scarlett is like this artist. She's an illustrator. She's a tattoo artist. She lives a very kind of free spirit life. And she has blue hair and always has makeup on. Whereas Rory is definitely the more like polished of the two. She works in a business in the city. And we're also getting the dynamic of her starting to see this Ian fellow who is someone she knew from high school who has also grown up and changed into someone that she is interested in. But she's also dealing with all of these things, these changes in her life, living at home again, dealing with her mother, which I love a toxic mother in a book. Yes, I do. There's also some content warnings surrounding things that happened with her mother's partners in the past. So if that sounds like something that might be uncomfortable for you to read, you can look that up. But yeah, we're dealing with her mother visiting. We're dealing with Scarlett about to have this baby. We're dealing with Rory dating, all while navigating the potential threat of her turning into a werewolf the next full moon. So I'd say I'm like a third of the way through the book and definitely enjoying it. I definitely needed the audiobook though, y'all. I'm getting home from work and it's a combination of I'm tired and I'm not used to my work schedule yet, as well as I think I'm getting sick. I don't know if you've heard, but the COVID is going around again, and there have been several students and a few teachers who have already gone home with it. So I'm trying my best to avoid that. But with the air and the rain and the humidity and the temperatures constantly changing, we're all getting sick around here. But 2 days ago, I went to sleep at 7:30 and woke up at 6:15. So you can guess how much reading I got done. Yesterday wasn't quite that bad, but I did go to sleep at like 8:30 and wake up at 6. So I have been one tired chickadee and I needed the audiobook. I was doing some mindless tasks of ripping study guides out of a book. So while I was doing that for 110 books, it gets old real fast. I did have the audiobook and that made my time better. But yeah, I have my first class coming in here in just a few minutes. We are going to take a little daily grade and we're going to do some notes on multiplying and dividing fractions. So you can tell it's going to be a fun day in 7th grade today. I also get another free Sunny's meal. I forgot they did this last year. Like there's a whole email where you can verify your teacher badge. They're playing a game next door and I can hear that they're excited. Yay for getting excited about math. But I did my whole like verification of my ID, which gave me a code I could use in app and get a Sunny's meal the other day. And then today or yesterday, we got an email and it was like, if you want free Sunnies for lunch tomorrow, leave your badge in the basket on the way out. So I get another free Sunnies meal this week. I mean, it's a lot of barbecue, but I'm not complaining about free food. Okay, I'm going to go now, maybe listen to another chapter. That's the other thing I meant to say. Rachel Harrison, girly, I love you so much. Why are your chapters so long? Okay, bye. Good morning, everybody. I'm not going to go get my microphone. I don't know that anything can help the situation right now. Y'all hear. I don't know if it is teaching and using my voice a lot, or the fact that I have had to raise my voice a few times at my classes this week, or if I'm sick, I don't know, but I'm definitely losing my voice. So if you can stay through this clip, you are a real one. I have about 15 minutes until I need to leave for work, so I'm just sitting here enjoying my coffee, and I just wrapped up Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. I think I'm giving it 5 stars, guys. I can't really say that there was much of a plot to this book. It was definitely character focused. I mean, obviously we had like the big inciting incident of Rory getting bit by the werewolf, but then we are just going through her life with her and her sister as her sister is preparing to give birth, and her sister has a complicated relationship with the father of the baby. It's funny because his name is Maddie, and I just kept picturing Maddie Healy from the 1975, and up to a certain point of the book, like I really thought that's kind of who we were getting at. There were some really powerful quotes in here that I listened to, unfortunately, on my walk last night, so I didn't have the book in front of me to mark what page it was on, but it was basically about how when you're happy, there is such a natural bodily release. Like you smile, you laugh. When you are sad, there's a natural body release, you cry. But when you're angry, like where does it go? And so not only were we dealing with the changes that these characters were going to, we were also discussing rage and anger a whole lot, especially rage and anger that you have no control over. There was a complicated mother relationship in this book, which I do always like reading about. And selfishly, I always want to read a book I can relate to where there is not reconciliation in that relationship, because I feel like a lot of the times when we see damaged parental relationships, the goal is always reconciliation in a book. And I feel like we kind of played around with reconciliation here, so it wasn't something I could 100% latch onto. If y'all don't know, I have a very complicated relationship with my own mother, so anytime I can relate to a character situation in a book, I really love it. But also the love story in here, guys, I wasn't expecting a love story, and I wouldn't call it a romance. Like the relationship is definitely a side plot, but with everything the character was going through, also having a man who was just 100% there for her. And I can't say whether he knew she was a werewolf or not, but he was 100% there for her, and I loved it. And then the sister dynamic was excellent and very complex, very complicated. It wasn't just like, we're twins, everything's perfect. They definitely had ups and downs within the book. Also just little sprinklings of werewolf lore in here that were interesting that I didn't know about. So this was definitely a success for our first book. I have my wheel pulled up. It's actually not parent-teacher conference. It is back to school meet the teacher night. And so I will be at school from 7:30 until 6:30 p.m. And then we have a few hours like in between the end of school and back to school night where I can get a few things done in my classroom, but then I would like to have a book to read. So we're gonna spin the wheel to see what we are bringing to work today. I'm excited. Okay, we got The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter, which I think is going to be a very upbeat song that's going to play like really well with both of their vocal styles. Like Taylor Swift is a little deeper and raspier, and Sabrina Carpenter has that country adjacent kind of yodely sound. I'm just so curious to see what that song is going to be like. But I think it's going to be very upbeat, synthy almost, and I think it's going to be storytelling about a showgirl. I don't necessarily think it's going to reflect personal lives. I think it's going to be storytelling. But the book I picked is romantasy. I have been itching to get back into a fantasy world, and I picked A Dance of Lies because this book is about, and this is a very like vague synopsis because I don't want to read the inside flat, but what I know about it is about a girl, and she, like, her occupation is dancing for the king and his court. There is an accusation made against her where she has to go to prison, and she gets a whole bunch of illnesses that she has to combat, but then the king wants her back to dance again. So obviously she is a type of showgirl, and I've heard that the dance sequences in this book are so well described. I danced growing up. I don't think you could look at me and be like, you were a dancer at this point, but I danced growing up. So I have the lore, I have the knowledge of dancing. It is a little chunky, and I do want to read 3 books in this vlog, but I think that this is a really good pick. What do you guys think? I'm gonna bring it to work with me today and hopefully start it at some point. Just wrapped up book club on this Saturday morning. My voice is coming back, but I feel like at school it just like exits the premises because I have to speak louder. So I'm going to embrace the fact that I have a voice this weekend and vlog and film some stuff. But at book club, our theme was books by authors coming to Mississippi Book Fest next month, and Tiffany D. Jackson is coming. So this was my pick. Apparently it is my turn to pick the theme for next month. So I'm going to go home and think of a theme and share it with the group in our Discord. I had joked about picking a 500+ page novel, but like I'm also kind of not joking because I got to read The Sword of Kaigen next month, and I think that's over 500 pages. But when I get home, I will talk to you a little bit about A Dance of Lies. I'm only like 40 pages in. I meant to read more on sprints last night. I like rush cleaned during sprints instead of reading. So this weekend, let's get some of that read. But it is the perfect book for what I picked. Oh my gosh, I'll talk more about that later. We met at like this brewery, but next door is a coffee shop, so you can get beer at the brewery or you can go next door to the coffee shop. So I got a Fruity Pebbles latte, and it was so good. The coffee shop is actually opened by a friend of mine from college who's one of my brother's closest friends. So if you're ever in town, Cultivate Coffee Project is the name of the coffee shop, and it was delightful. But I am hungry. I haven't eaten anything yet today, so I'm gonna go home and find some food and eat. Sorry, I'm shaking y'all around. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Bye.
Day breaks and I'm burned by the morning light. I make the same mistake more than twice. Same song, but brand new dance. I wear out my 3rd chance. You take my breath and I can't get it back.
Good morning, guys. I have lots of updates. I read page 200 last night. I got so much reading in. I did end up getting the audiobook with Everann, and that definitely helped just because I could do it and listen to it while I was cleaning, making dinner, all the things. I am wearing a sweater today. It's going to get hot, but my classroom is cold, and it kind of looks like a pumpkin spice sweater, and I'm about to go get my first fall drink of the year. But the book, Dance of Lies, guys, it's feeling like the most 3-star book that I've ever given a 3 stars to. Like, it's a book I'm reading. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either, which I hate saying. I really thought that this was going to be like an A+ book for me. But what is driving me crazy is, first of all, I don't really feel any chemistry between the characters that I think are supposed to be the ones I'm rooting for. I mean, I'm 50% of the way through the book now. I think I should know who I'm rooting for. But also, there is so much info dumping in a way that doesn't feel natural to me. Which is, like, I like the character. I like the plot and the setup and everything. But I feel like we'll be, like, doing her thing. She'll be doing her dance or, like, doing her little espionage stuff that she's working on while she's a dancer. And then all of a sudden, it'll be like, and I think back to when... I forgot this woman's name even. Her stepmom. I think back to when she told me the stories of Moira. And that's how I know all of this information, because my stepmother used to tell me all the stories of Moira.
and it's getting a little old. Nothing huge has happened. I'm still like waiting for big things to happen. The chronic illness representation is very good, but I am bored. So hopefully we'll finish listening to this today. I have like 204 pages left, I think. But right now, my local Starbucks is out of all of the fall drinks. So I'm about to get gas and make a detour, which is why I'm in the car so dang early. It's 6:45. I don't have to be at work until 7:30. We're gonna make a detour and we're gonna go pick up a pumpkin chai and some sausage egg bites because I've been waiting. Today was gonna be the day, and my Starbucks said no, but I said yes. Also, it smells like petrichor.
Peter Mercer, 25 years old.
Hello friends, I just woke up from a nap, so if I look a little odd or my makeup is smudged, I don't want to hear about it. But I have several updates. Update number 1, I watched the Thursday Murder Club movie on Netflix with my patrons and Liv from Liv's Libraries patrons last night, and when I say I feel so giddy after watching that movie. Y'all know I love that series. It's one of the only series I have consistently stayed up in. I am a terrible series reader, but I have read every book that's out and I have my pre-order in for the next book. I'm so excited about it. But we watched that last night and it really just felt like the perfect kickoff to fall. It was so perfect to the heart of the book. There were some changes made, and normally when changes are made from a book to a movie adaptation, I don't like it. I liked it. It was its own thing, but it was also very, very faithful to the source material, save for a few situations that I think were totally warranted. The acting was great. The color story of the movie was breathtaking. The set dresser deserves an Oscar. Every single set, like, we were all just in the comments being like, I want that wallpaper. Oh my gosh, that sitting room, the color palette of this apartment. It was stunning. Joyce's little 76-year-old wardrobe, be still my heart. Like, that's who I want to be when I'm old. I loved it. The second update, I'm really sad to say this. I have been reading this book, A Dance of Lies, for 8 days, and it's time to DNF it. I just find myself not wanting to pick it up. It's going to work for so many people, and it's not the writing style and it's not the plot, it's just the way the story is told, and that's not on the writing style. I don't really know how to explain my problems with it, but like I said, I have seen people I know give it 4 and 5 stars. I've seen people I know give it 2 or less stars, and I think I'm falling in that bottom category, and I don't want to be mad at a book I'm reading, so I am going to DNF it and donate this one to my local used bookstore. Now, I do have the copy on Everand, so if I ever am like, you know what, I want to give that another shot, I do have that. I pay for Everand, so I get to keep the copy as long as I'm paying for it, but something just wasn't working for me. But as far as, you know, I picked this song to go with the life of a showgirl, and I do think that the story fits that song. We're following our main character, Vasily. The way I don't want to pick this book up, I'm even having trouble remembering names, but we're following her as she is imprisoned, and then she's taken out of prison, and now she is dealing with a lot of chronic illnesses, and that representation is very well needed in literature, and she is fighting that as she is being commissioned to go be the dancer at this huge gathering among all of these nations, so she can essentially be used as a spy and an informant to buy back her freedom. And I just felt like not enough was given to me to keep me interested in turning the pages. Halfway through the book, I think I know who the romantic lead is. I don't care at all. So it's a DNF. The other update is last night, after I decided to DNF that book, I watched the Thursday Murder Club. I took my melatonin, but was like, but wait, let me do a spin. And I did video the spin. I looked like a hot mess, movie watching mess. And so I was like, I'll just spin and show them later. So I spun the wheel, here it is. And we landed on father figure. And I was having issues because first I was navigating to all my fantasy books. And I was like, what book do I have where we're dealing with a father figure? And I was like, oh, but wait, I have to sneeze. Oh my gosh, okay. I was like, what books do I have with a father figure that aren't fantasy? And then I was like, oh my gosh, my Patreon book club pick, These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. Let me read you the inside flap. because I think this is the perfect fit. Alice Storm hasn't been welcome at her family's magnificent private island off the Rhode Island coast in 5 years. Not since she was cast out and built her life beyond the Storm name, influence, and untold billions. But the shocking death of her larger-than-life father changes everything. Hopefully we're dealing with some, like, idealizations of her father figure, trauma that her father has caused. I don't know, but it does feel like it's going to fit what that song could be about. It could be about something completely different. It could be about like, oh my gosh, I'm engaged now and Travis is going to be the father of my babies. It could be about that, but I don't think it's going to be about that because they weren't engaged yet. But that doesn't mean she wasn't thinking about Travis being the father of her babies. I don't know, shut me up. But this is what we're going to start. I'm actually about to go take care of some, like an errand Brent asked me to do, and then that puts me really close to a park I haven't been to yet. So I'm going to take this audiobook on a walk with me. It's actually Labor Day weekend now. I can't believe I've been doing this vlog for 2 weeks. This was supposed to be a week-long vlog. Oops. But yeah, it's Labor Day weekend. I am going to try and let this be my last book of September. The audiobook is like 6.5 hours long at the speed in which I listen to books. So I think that's very doable over today and tomorrow. All I have tomorrow is book club for a book I didn't read. Oh no. And then at 7:30 tomorrow night, I'm doing fantasy football, y'all. Guess who has watched one NFL game a year for the last like 6 years and it's been the Super Bowl? Me. I don't watch football, but I'm doing fantasy football with a group of friends at work and I'm really excited about it even though I know nothing about what I'm doing. My brother said he might help me make my draft or like build my roster. I don't even know if I'm using proper terminology, but we're doing that tomorrow at 7:30. My team name is Bookmarked for Victory. I did take myself out on a little shopping excursion this morning. I have not bought new pants for work in years. And I'm talking about like jeans because we can wear jeans on Mondays if we wear specific shirts, and then we can wear jeans with whatever we want on Fridays. And then we also can earn jean passes for things like perfect attendance or if we have to cover another teacher's classroom. So I find many opportunities to wear jeans, and I literally have the same worn out, faded, have a foundation stain on them jeans for the last 3 years. So I took myself to the thrift store where I was unsuccessful, to TJ Maxx where I found a pair of like comfy jean looking pants. They have like a drawstring and they feel like sweatpants, and normally I would veer away from pants like that, but they were so comfortable and they're actually kind of cute. And then I went to Old Navy and I spent way more than I wanted to there. I gave myself a budget and for the whole day I stayed within my budget. But anyway, I got 3 pairs of jeans at Old Navy. So I feel like I'm set on jeans for the foreseeable future. Gosh almighty, I hope. I also went to Bath and Body Works. Here's one of the candles I got. Candles were $13.95 today. Let's focus on my candle. Oh my gosh. Pumpkin apple. I also got a pumpkin one. Maybe I'll show y'all later if I remember. Oh, it smells so good. This one smells like apple cider. And I got body care because body care was $5.95 today, and I just ran out of shower gel, so I was like, well, this is perfect. And yeah, that's been the start to Labor Day. I don't normally treat myself like this, but my birthday is Wednesday, so spending some birthday money. I'm gonna get ready to go do this errand and then go on this walk. It might be a little bit of a quieter weekend. Brent is in Chicago and I'm very jealous. I want to go to Chicago. I thought I was going to get to go to Chicago because my dad is running the Chicago Marathon in October, but unfortunately during the span of the time I would be away is a mandatory work event for me. So I couldn't go with my dad and my brother to Chicago like I went to New York with them last year, but that's okay. I'm glad that they'll get to have a little trip. But okay, I can't believe this is the same vlog I went to that baseball game. I feel like this vlog has been going on for forever. Hopefully this is a winner, especially since it's my book club book. I don't want to DNF it. I have yet to DNF a book that I'm reading for my book club. Grab my headphones, put my shoes on. I'm really excited. This is supposed to be a more like nature through the woods park, so I hope so. I need that like hike feel. Let's go.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough.
You guys do not get to see my face right now because I'm a wreck after walking. But reading Slump Who? Dance of Lies Who? This was just from my walk. Lord have mercy, I'm loving this book. If you like Taylor Jenkins Reid, this book's for you. Good morning. It's Sunday. I woke up early. I'm about to go for my walk just to get it out of the way. But y'all, I really thought Dance of Lies put me in a slump. But I am like 60% of the way through this book already, and I didn't start it till late last night. I love it. Now, I am listening to the audio along with reading it, and it's narrated by Julia Whalen, so I'm not shocked that I'm loving the audiobook. In fact, there was a point where I was listening on my walk, and I stopped. And I was like, is this dual narration? Because she was doing the man's voice so well. So I've talked about starting this book, but I haven't really talked about what's going on. So before I head outside on my walk, it's like 7 a.m., so it should still be relatively cool outside, fingers crossed. Anyway, we are following a girl named Alice Storm, and she is part of a very big tech conglomerate family. Think like Apple, but they're called Storm. So her father has passed away, and of course, all of the children are being called back to the island, and she's been exiled. And you do find out why she's been exiled, but that happens way into the book, so I don't really want to get into it. But there's also a representative there from her dad's company who, unbeknownst to Alice, she may or may not have had a fling with. But he shows up with letters, and he's like, hey, your father left these letters with instructions on what you need to do to get your inheritance. And they're so wacky. Like, one of the brothers is not allowed to talk during odd hours of the day. The mother must only say nice things, must speak only nice truths about Frank, the father who's passed away. And then Alice is left with one rule, and it's to stay on the island. Obviously, she feels like her family does not like her. She does not want to be there, but her only task is to stay throughout the duration of the 5 days. And like I said, there may or may not have been a fling at the beginning of this book. So she is balancing, like, I had a really good time with this man, but also, oh crap, he worked for my dad. Their chemistry is very cool. It does kind of feel like the setting of The Summer I Turned Pretty or We Were Liars. It's a huge manor house on an island in Rhode Island called Storm Island. It's obviously fictional. But what's really interesting about this book are the sibling dynamics. You have a whole bunch of different types of siblings. You have got the only brother and his wife who are like, I deserve the inheritance. Everybody needs to follow the rules because I'm carrying the heir to the Storm name. And then you've got the oldest sister who just feels like a pawn in her family. She exists to help out her family. She exists for her family. There is nothing outside of her existence. And the things that do make her happy outside of her family, she is not allowed to feel that passionate about. And then you have the younger sister, Emily, who is kind of like hippy dippy. She sells crystals. She does yoga. She encourages everybody to meditate and join her for sound baths. So the sibling dynamics are all very, very different. But seeing how they're coming together and deciding whether or not to work together is interesting. Things keep happening to Alice that she is blaming on the eldest brother. Like, she got locked in the pantry cabinet. Her clothes got stolen outside of her door when she was showering, and she wants to blame all of this on her brother Sam, but I have a feeling something else is going on. But it's written beautifully. If you like Taylor Jenkins Reid, I feel like this book really fits into that TJR style. Maybe it's just because Julia Whalen's reading it, but I really feel like it feels like a TJR book. But I'm gonna listen some more while I go walk. I should finish this today. I think I have maybe 3 hours left. It's really good, y'all. And the book takes place over Labor Day weekend. It's Labor Day weekend right now. I didn't even know that. Actually, I think somebody told me in my comments at one point, but I forgot. I think I'm gonna try and get I wanna say a 2.5 mile. I think it might just end up being a 2 mile. My Achilles tendon is really bothering me all, like, scarily, so I really don't want anything to be wrong with it. But also, like, it's fine once I rest, but then, like, when I do things like walk or play pickleball, I feel it so bad. Like, I probably need to go to a sports medicine doctor. I hate going to doctors. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, let's go get our fitness on. I just got ready for the day after my walk. I went 2.36 miles and I ran the last 0.36, which I used to be a runner. I ran a half marathon. I'm not a runner anymore. But I did run that last 0.36 and it felt pretty good. I actually think that running felt better on my leg than walking did. I need to know the science behind all of the pain that I'm experiencing with my foot. It's not fun. But I got home. I have like an hour and 15 minutes-ish left of the book. So I think we're gonna just go make a little comfy goblin nest on the couch. I also made taco soup for dinner last night and I'm really excited about having some of it for lunch. So we're gonna heat that up. I haven't had any caffeine today, so I have an Alani in the fridge. I'll probably just have a taco soup and Alani. Is it weird to have an Alani with your meal? I don't know, but I'm about to. And I have book club tonight at a Mexican restaurant. I realize how much Mexican food I'm unknowingly eating. Also, the other meal prep that I got for the week are taco bowls. So much, but I mean, if you like it, you like it, and I'm doing it. I'm trying to just like make some healthy swaps for things. So my taco soup, I used ground turkey and then lower sodium taco seasoning. And for my taco bowls, I just got lean ground beef instead of the normal ground beef I get because it's cheaper. I paid more for the lean ground beef. I'm trying to make these healthy swaps where I can. But that's kind of the plans for this Labor Day Sunday. Oh, and I'm gonna go pick up my poster of my Readathon Rebellion game board from Office Depot on the way to book club. I'm so excited to see it. I like filming in front of my window. Why don't I ever do it? Hey guys, guess what? I finished it. Reading Slumpu. I read this in when did I start this? Less than 48 hours? Sure, we'll say that. I really loved this book. I can't get into anything that happened after the point of what I told you it was about. Girl comes back to her family's island. There's some weird inheritance games going on. She starts to fall for someone who worked for her father. Everybody has weird rules they have to follow, sibling dynamics, parent dynamics. Picking this song for father figure, by the way, A+ choice. I really nailed the picks this week and I ended up giving it a 4.5. I can't articulate why it wasn't a 5-star other than the fact that like 5 stars are books that I'm like, oh man, like I really want to reread this one day. And I can't see a reason why I would need to reread it. However, it was really, really stinking good. My friend Liv had reading sprints for her Patreon today. They were just like spur of the moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. I have like an hour and 15 minutes left. So I did my nails and listened to the rest of the book. Like I said, Julia Whalen narrates it, so you cannot go wrong. It's so good to be ending this vlog on a winner. So let's recap from what seems like 8 years ago. The first book I read was Eldest Daughter, which I was about to say this book would also have worked for, but she was the middle daughter. We had Eldest Daughter where I read Such Sharp Teeth, and I can't remember what I rated it, and then I forgot to rate it on Fable. I want to say it was a 4.5 or a 5. I don't know. I really liked it. Rachel Harrison, you go girl. Interested to see what people say about her new one. I haven't decided if I'm picking that one up immediately or letting it garner some attention before I go for it. And then I read A Dance of Lies for way too many days and finally decided to DNF it. However, it definitely worked for Life of a Showgirl. And then finally, I read this bad boy oh so fast. So I think despite a DNF, I had a really good, I almost said reading week, reading 2 weeks, because that is how long it's been. I started my first vlog 2 Sundays ago. So if you watched all the way to the end and you're excited about the new Taylor release, leave me one of 2 emojis. You can leave me a star because stars are like a big image for Life of a Showgirl, or to celebrate Travis and Taylor getting engaged, leave me an engagement ring. That would be really cute, although people are probably gonna look at the comments and be like, holy cow, is she engaged? No. No. Or you can always leave me a comment, guys. I'm sorry for not interacting in the comments more over the last 2 weeks. Normally, I'm like, I see a comment and I reply. That's the kind of person I am, but I've been overwhelmed with work the last 2 weeks, but I am gonna get better and get back to my responding. I really love comments, and even if I can't answer all of them, I definitely see all of them, and they bring me so much joy. I really think I have the nicest people that visit my channel, and of course, likes, comments, visiting my Patreon, my Instagram, anything like that is support for me, and it just lets me know that you guys are enjoying what I put out there, and I am so excited to see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.